Bro, when people, what I got from that is he's a hater. You don't know me as a person. Let's say you don't like me. Like, you don't know me.
Shit, it's hard for him to even, want to get on the phone with me, want to reach out or put all that other shit to the side. That nigga just got too much ego, I guess.
Yes. Honestly, if anybody could jump up in weight classes and do it, it's Terrence Crawford.
Shakur Stevenson called out Gervonta Davis for his negative comments about Terrence Crawford, calling him a pathetic hypocrite and accusing him of being inconsistent. This rivalry began when Gervonta Davis took personal jabs at Terrence Crawford, mocking his career and hard work. He taunted Crawford for overworking, claiming it was because he has 8 kids and a 380-pound wife, making crude remarks about her. Terrence Crawford didn't hold back, firing back with a warning that he'd break Davis's neck in a street fight.
If we was to fight right now on the streets, I'll break your fucking neck. And that's on my kids. And you know it, I know it, and the whole world know it. And I'm not talking about no fighting in the ring. If me and you was to fight outside, I will break your neck.
Blasting Tank Davis, Crawford's friend Bernie the Boxer questioned whether Gervonta Davis is a legitimate fighter or just someone who mocks others. He angrily called out Tank to step into the ring with a real fighter and get beaten up, insisting that's exactly what he deserved.
Tank is a bitch. That's what he is. A cold. That's what he is. He don't want to step in and fight nobody. He can fight, but when you see him, he ain't about none of that. He ain't about that. Tank a cold. Do your fighting in the ring, boy.
There you go.
Taking his trolling to another level, Bernie the Boxer mocked Gervonta Davis's persona, saying he acts like a girl. He condemned Tank's comments, adding that a guy from Baltimore doing something so ridiculous is nothing short of a feminine move.
That's Keyshawn Shakur.
You see him with like a girl? You see him like that? I mean, you could be whoever you want. You know they got all these rules and transgenders and however, and that's to each their own. But bro, come on, man, you supposed to be from Baltimore? I get you seen The Wire. You see how the killer, how he was. So they like that, and he like that.
Meanwhile, as the potential fight between Terrence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez has become a hot topic, Gervonta Davis shared his thoughts as well. He claimed that while smaller fighters often perform better, he still isn't convinced that Crawford can actually beat Canelo.
Going up those weight classes to face him, how do you convince fans that he can beat Canelo?
I ain't trying to convince y'all that he can beat Canelo. He's a good fighter. But, bro, I would say smaller fighters are always better than bigger fighters because they're smaller, they're not moving like that. This guy is great at what he do. He got. And another thing, bro, I don't be wanting to how these guys then he get hurt against
He went even further, calling Terrence Crawford a nobody who has no chance of beating Canelo Alvarez. Davis accused Crawford of using steroids, noting that Errol Spence had also hinted at this in the past, though he stopped short of naming anyone directly. Davis, however, asserted that Crawford has been on performance-enhancing drugs.
The fuck he's looking this strong over the past year, these years. He ain't been getting clipped or nothing. So now, that's that snack shit. I'm telling you. Y'all laugh. I'm always.
No, do tell. Open up.
And that guy that a part of it, he been caught before. He went to jail for it.
You're talking about Victor Conti?
He went to jail, right?
Victor Conti?
Yeah. And he the owner of the snack shit, right? And he went to jail for it. Now it's like, you see Earl, I don't want to throw him out of the bus, but you see Earl said some things like that, like about the people using steroids, but yeah. He don't want to say no names.
Looking at the whole scenario, Shakur Stevenson stepped in to share his perspective. He slammed Gervonta Davis for refusing his offer to fight, suggesting that Tank has some kind of personal hatred. Stevenson also addressed Davis's remarks about Terrence Crawford, calling them outrageous, pointing out that Tank once tried to stop the Crawford versus Errol Spence fight, and now he's avoiding a fight with him as well.
I told y'all I would be willing to do that, but that nigga got like some type of hate for me or like whatever he got going on to where it's like we can't do the Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford and sit and talk like men and negotiate and And you know, like, me and him is the biggest fight in the sport of boxing. I don't care what nobody say. Like, every black nigga on the planet
That's a fact.
wants to
We want to see that.
me versus Tank.
Yeah, fact.
So it's like, with him, with his pride and like his ego and shit, it's hard for him to even, you know, want to get on the phone with me, want to reach out or.
Shakur also emphasized that he has made multiple efforts to settle things with Gervonta Davis, but believes Davis has an ego problem, calling him an egoistic fighter.
Put all that other shit to the side. That nigga just got too much ego, I guess.
Slamming him for having an attitude rooted in hatred and hypocrisy, Shakur Stevenson stated that people are falling for the false narratives pushed by Tank. He criticized Davis for showing support early in his career, but said that as his own name grew bigger, Tank began to hate him and reveal his true hypocritical character.
Like, everybody really think like, cause you know people run with like false narratives, so they gonna say they versions of like the story, but truthfully, like when I first was around the nigga, he was showing a lot of love, and then once I became a threat, is where like everything switched over. Once like people started talking about me and my name started getting big, then it was like I go fight and I get on Twitter and he'll like post, oh, he did that because it was a cab driver, or he'll just post some like hating ass shit to where like it was unnecessary to go do that shit. Cause like I thought we was like cool type shit. So
Shakur Stevenson also dismissed Gervonta Davis's claims that Terence Crawford couldn't beat Canelo. He confidently suggested that if there's anyone who can move up in weight and still dominate, it's Crawford. Stevenson asserted that he hasn't seen anyone as mentally and physically strong as Crawford throughout his boxing career, expressing firm belief that Crawford would defeat Canelo.
Yes, honestly, if anybody could jump up in weight classes and do it, it's Terence Crawford. I don't know nobody who is mentally as strong as Terence Crawford, so I can't wait to watch it.
Speaking on his rivalry with Tank Davis, Terence Crawford made it clear that he doesn't like him. He stated there's nothing about Tank that gives him a reason to, describing him as arrogant and overly protected by security. In Crawford's view, Tank is a coward who hides behind bodyguards and pretends to be the real GOAT, but in reality, he's far from it.
I just really don't like that dude.
Why though?
Cause I just don't like him. Like, I really don't like him. I don't like
Just not your cup of tea. That's just not your.
I don't like nothing about him. You know, I don't like nothing about him. I just felt like, you know, he just one of these little arrogant little dudes that's, you know, using what he got to shield him. You know, like he got a lot of security guards around him, and he know. You know what I mean? He's in the limelight and stuff like that, but in certain situations, he wouldn't be acting like that.
Responding to this, Gervonta Davis fired back, claiming that Terence Crawford is just another one of his haters. He pointed to Crawford's comments as proof and said he doesn't care about anything he has to say. Davis also took a personal jab at Crawford, mocking him in a sarcastic and insulting manner.
Bro, when people, what I got from that is he's a hater. You don't know me as a person. Let's say you don't like me. Like, you don't know me. Like, you feel me? And I don't give a fuck him. And everybody in the crew with him. I mean, with him.
Tank, question for you. You're a proud father.
Meanwhile, Shakur Stevenson fired back at Tank Davis for constantly making derogatory comments about fellow boxers. He called Tank delusional, saying his biggest achievements have been in the entertainment side of the sport, referring to him as more of a cash cow than a true champion. Shakur went on to remind Tank that when it comes to real accomplishments in boxing, even he has surpassed him.
It's real delusional. Very delusional to say that. What have I done for the sport of boxing? Like, he done more for the sport of boxing than me. He done more in the entertainment business. I'll give him that, but like, when I say entertainment, it's like the putting asses in the seats and making the most.
Well, that's from his dancing video that he had on social media.
Being the cash cow.
You know how he had that dancing video on social media?
That wild, yeah. Being a cash cow, he done more in that aspect. But like, accomplishments, I'm more accomplished than what he is. I've been 3 different divisions. Won 1, 2, 3, 4, and had the Ring magazine belt.
Moving on, as speculation around a Crawford versus Alvarez fight continues, Shakur Stevenson shared his take. He said he's been around Terence Crawford for a long time, and all he's ever seen in him is the mindset and work ethic of a true GOAT. Stevenson admitted that Canelo used to be one of his favorite fighters for a long time, but now he believes Crawford has what it takes to beat him. Amid all this, Lamont Roach joined the conversation to share his thoughts on how Tank Davis has been disrespectful toward Terence Crawford, taking personal jabs at his life. He asserted that this is what Tank Davis is known for, crossing the line. Roach noted that Tank has a habit of playing these wild cards not just against his opponents, but also against other fellow boxers whenever a major fight is announced.
Well, I mean, that's who he is. He's a wild card. Like, and if, obviously, if he don't fuck with you, don't fuck with you.
Disrespectful ass Baltimore person.
Yeah. What's the most disrespectful?
Men and women, don't they?
Nah. He be disrespectful. No, Tank gets super disrespectful on Twitter. He be going in, but yeah, you're right, Envy. There hasn't been too much disrespect.
At the same time, Shakur Stevenson noted that Bud Crawford is like a brother to him, so he'll always back him in any back and forth. He also emphasized that internet arguments don't really matter, urging people to focus on what actually happens in the ring rather than getting caught up in online drama. Sharing his thoughts on the potential Canelo versus Crawford fight, Shakur said Crawford would use his footwork to keep Canelo off balance and out of range.
If they do fight, I told you I think that Bud outboxes him. I think he's going to use his leg, keep Canelo on the outside and make it an easy night.
Got you. Now, Bud, Tank, what were your thoughts on the whole like back and forth with Bud and Tank? Any thoughts at all, especially because it got really personal?
See, that's another thing. I try not to get into nobody else's stuff, but like I said, Bud my brother, so I'm backing him with whatever. But I don't get into the back and forth of the internet arguing or the typing back and forth on. That shit don't really matter.
As concerns grow over Terence Crawford moving up in weight, Shakur Stevenson, who has observed him closely in the gym, offered some reassurance. He shared a story about witnessing Crawford spar with a heavyweight, where Crawford actually hurt the bigger fighter. Stevenson emphasized that Crawford's fighting skills are phenomenal, and his punching power is exceptional, strong enough to carry into any weight class.
This story, I said it before, but I'm gonna say it again. I was in the gym. I want to say I was getting ready for Chris Diaz or something, and he was sparring like a heavyweight fighter. I'm looking, I'm type nervous for him. I'm like, why is he in the ring with this big old dude? And man, I swear he done caught this dude on the shin. Boom, dude, wobbling all around the ring. I'm like, what the f***? How is this dude this strong? But it's like, honestly, Bud is very strong. A lot of people don't realize how strong he is as a fighter, and his punching power could carry through the weight classes.
Backing Shakur's comments, Caron Davis, who has sparred with both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, shared his thoughts. He asserted that the outcome would ultimately come down to preparation. While he leaned slightly toward Canelo due to the weight difference, size, and experience, he also expressed his belief that despite the challenge of moving up to 168, Crawford is the only fighter at that weight class he sees as capable of beating Canelo.
In September, preparation is going to definitely be everything. Crawford adjusting to the 168 pound division. I know he's been sitting at a heavier weight for a while, but he's been showing his training and stuff. So that's definitely going to help him. Canelo experience, but you got Crawford, he got great experience as well. It's going to be a great fight. It's going to be a good chess match. I expect a great fight. If I had to favor somebody, I would just pick Canelo because of the weight disparity. Canelo is naturally sits really well at 168. And it's just always tough for a guy to come to 168 and come from that many weight classes up and do something like that. If he does it, if anybody could do it, it'll be Terence Crawford.
Meanwhile, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. shared his thoughts on Canelo Alvarez's recent performance against William Skull. He noted that while Canelo is known for delivering exciting fights, his bout with Skull lacked entertainment value. Chavez Jr. said this is why he didn't enjoy Canelo's last fight.
I always think that Canelo have a good performance, but the last one are not good. Don't look good. His opponent and him don't make an entertaining fight. So I don't know, man. I don't like it, the fight.
Chavez Jr. went on to assert that Canelo is the favorite due to his weight advantage and greater experience. He admitted that he's not very familiar with Crawford's fighting style, which makes moving up in weight even more of a challenge for him. Drawing from his own experience of once facing Canelo, Julio advised Crawford to run inside the ring when it's time to fight him, implying that smart movement would be key to surviving against Canelo.
I think Canelo is the favorite of this fight. It's still a big than Crawford. And I don't know, Crawford, how is Crawford now? It's my age, 39, and last performance don't look good. So I pick Canelo in the...
Yeah, any advice you can give to Crawford, any insight at all from, I know it's been years since you fought Canelo, he's gotten better, bigger, and...
Run.
Meanwhile, Jake Paul shared a similar opinion, claiming that a fight between Canelo and Crawford would be boring. He boldly stated that if he were in the ring with Canelo Alvarez, he could have beaten him and won the fight. Jake also criticized Canelo for the way he fought William Skull, calling it a disappointing performance, and suggested that a bout with Crawford might turn out the same way.
He would have done better than Skull, though.
1,000%, without a doubt. I would have beat Canelo, and this is what I've been saying. He's over the hill. Obviously, Crawford's a great fighter, Canelo's a great fighter, but I just think that this has more hype around it, and you know, we just saw them come off of some boring-ass fights, and they're probably just going to sit there and dance for 12 rounds.
Kermel Moton also weighed in, saying he finds it difficult to pick a clear winner but is rooting for Crawford. He asserted that Crawford's multidimensional fighting style and athleticism give him the edge to beat Canelo and possibly even score a stoppage. Moton noted that Canelo is more one-dimensional and tends to fight in a single style, whereas Crawford brings a wide range of skills and versatility that could make the difference in winning this fight.
I don't have a pick. I feel like I'm a root for Crawford, and I just feel like Crawford is more multi-dimensional. He can do more things in the ring. You know, he can get on his toes if he really needs to, and then he can also bang in the pocket, obviously. And I feel like Canelo's a great, but I feel like he's more one-dimensional. He's just gonna put that pressure, you know, slick head movement, try to come with them counters. But I just feel like Crawford gonna have the speed advantage, and he gonna probably just outbox Canelo. But I don't have no pick right now, but I'm rooting for Crawford.
Meanwhile, Stephen A. Smith raised his usual concerns about Crawford, stating that while he has no doubt Crawford can outbox Canelo, hurting him might not be so easy. Dan Rafael echoed those sentiments, highlighting Canelo's impressive career and calling him a great fighter, reflecting on his journey and accomplishments in the sport.
I think Terence Crawford is a marvelous boxer, arguably the best in the world pound for pound. But can you hurt Canelo? If you can't hurt him, I have no doubt he can outbox him. My issue is, if you can't hurt him, what kind of a challenge can you truly pose? What do you say to that?
No, listen, that's a great point. I mean, here's the thing. Canelo Alvarez has a historically great chin. Now, I go way back when he first came to the United States and started boxing, and he found himself on an HBO pay-per-view undercard years and years ago, fighting against the older brother of the great Miguel Cotto. His name was Jose Miguel Cotto, and he had gotten a ton of hype. He had signed with Golden Boy Promotions, and a lot of those of us in the media, and I had seen him a couple of times before that. This is my first time seeing him in person, really paying close attention, and he almost got knocked out in the first round.
Reflecting on Canelo's durability, Dan Rafael pointed out that Canelo has a strong chin and likely won't have much trouble taking Crawford's punches, whereas Crawford might face challenges absorbing Canelo's power. However, he also acknowledged that Crawford has hurt multiple opponents throughout his career, and in this fight, he won't just be tested, he'll also have the opportunity to prove himself.
Physically, visibly hurt since then, he has an all-time great chin going in the ring with tremendous punchers. Terence Crawford coming up 2 weight classes, do any damage? Yeah, he's a slick boxer, and he's also a good puncher in the welterweight division, in the junior welterweight division, in the lightweight division. But even at junior middleweight, which is where Terence Crawford had his most recent fight back in August, when he moved up and he won a world title, he didn't blow the doors off. He fought a very tough, solid opponent named Israel Madrimov. He gave him a good fight. It was very close. Madrimov's people seem to think he might have even been able to edge it out. But if you can't hurt an Israel Madrimov at 154, what the heck are you going to do with Canelo Alvarez, the sturdiest guy in the world, at 168? So that aspect of it is certainly a problem. You mentioned about Charlo. Charlo was there to get his check. I know one thing about Terence Crawford. He's not going to just come to turn up to get the check. He'll at least try. And Charlo, I don't think, really tried.
And that wraps up today's deep dive into the heated rivalry that's got the boxing world buzzing. It all kicked off with Gervonta Tank Davis taking disrespectful shots at Terence Crawford, mocking his personal life and doubting his ability to beat Canelo, but the backlash was immediate. Shakur Stevenson didn't hold back, firing back at Tank for ducking him and calling out his hypocritical attitude. And of course, the big question still stands. Who really wins if Terence Crawford steps into the ring with Canelo Alvarez? Let us know your take in the comments. Team Shakur or Team Tank? Crawford or Canelo? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fight talk, drama, and real boxing breakdowns.